I am fandom. I am the critic. I am Catman! Salutations, Wolfpack. Welp, we did a top 10 Jokers, a top 10 Catwomen, and a top 10 Haunting Hours. So now it's time for a top 10 list on one of my all-time favorite superheroes, Green Lantern! But he hasn't had too many notable actors yet, so guess we should settle on the Dark Knight.
They don't call you Batman for nothing.
Batman is... oh, who am I kidding? You all should know who this dude is. Created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, Batman's a timeless classic of superhero media. A true American icon, DC's golden boy who they can never break away from, a popular character of fiction who still appeals to fans of all ages, and one of the best superheroes ever. Even if you don't like the Knight, it is nigh impossible that you've never even heard of him. He's been around since the 1940s and has endless stories in every form of media sold somewhere in every decade since his creation. Heck, his origin alone has been retold again and again, and again and again and again and again and bloody again.
My parents are dead.
It goes without saying that this noble man of pureness and vengeance has been around for a long time, and naturally, every Bat fan has their own favorite versions of the character. If you thought the Joker had too many great actors playing him, well, the Dark Knight managed to have even more epic interpretations, which many adore. I'm sure you probably haven't noticed, but Batman has been adapted into several forms of media, including movies, cartoons, video games, toys, parodies, the works. There are so many excellent Batman stories, and some not so hot.
This is why Superman works alone.
To this day, fans still debate which Batman is the best. Everyone has their own personal favorite creatures of the night, so it's tough to say who is apex predator. Well, this kitty wants his turn to play, and toss in their 2 cents. 'Cause if there's anything we cats know, it's what we love in our bats. Which Batmen were worthy of their wings, and who was good enough to earn this grumpy cat's high praise? Race to the Batmobile and tune in your cryptographic sequencers to find out. These are my top 10 best Batmen.
They need you. No. They need us.
Roger Craig Smith. Oh man, what a freaking underrated boss. Who knew the guy who voiced Sonic the Hedgehog would make such an epic Batman? I think it serves as a true testament to Roger's acting skills, how night and day his characters can be, thanks to his time as this anti-hero.
Coming in for a hard landing, Tails. You got me covered?
Roger.
Who's Roger? He's talking to me. Thanks, buddy.
I want teeth. I want answers.
I have never understood the hate for Arkham Origins, because I actually grew to love this game, as it earned the same critical acclaim as the rest of the series. A lot of its pizzazz are thanks to Roger's take on a young Bruce. I know we're all tired of going back to the Batman's early days, but I don't think Smith's style should be ignored. His Batman is a much more angry, reckless, and brutal Dark Knight than we've ever seen before. He's essentially a bitter young man still working through his emotional pain, before maturing into his identity. Arkham Origins grants Bruce a unique arc where he grows from this arrogant, savage Dark Knight, aggressively taking out his anger on criminal scum into the true noble hero we know and love, showing how Batman morphs his image into somebody who genuinely cares about saving lives and stopping criminals, rather than just his short-sighted end goals. Smith definitely grew into his own flavor, as he returns in more animation to play the more gruff, scary Bruce most are familiar with, and to his credit, he really knows how to be intimidating. And I'm just gonna say it, I think he does the scary Christian Bale voice much better than Bale does.
Where are they?
Killing is making a choice.
Where are they? Oh, Black Mask, put a bounty on my head. Where is he?
Smith certainly feels like the go-to voice for a younger yet savage beast of a bat. Heck, the guy pounds Russian Superman to a bloody pulp. This is not a guy to underestimate. I genuinely believe this bro has earned being the icon, since you do truly buy he's not just doing the Roger shtick. He sounds like the Dark Knight. Some have brushed him aside, mostly because he replaced the great Kevin Conroy in the Arkham saga, but I grew to love him thanks to Raj being a part of some grand DC tales. Fun, scary, rough and tough, Smith perfectly captures the raw emotion and badass style of the Knight. How can you not love Chris Redfield being Batman?
You need a new hobby.
You're pretty strong for some clown who thinks he's Batman.
I am Batman.
Yep, Will Friedle from Batman Beyond joins the party. Wait a tick, am I cheating by even involving him at all? Nope, Bruce gave Terry his blessing, so he counts.
It's not Batman that makes you worthwhile. It's the other way around. Never tell yourself anything different.
See, your precious Kevin said he was dope, so accept it. How does this bro not get on more Batman videos? He's so fun. Will Friedle plays a suave, cool, if a tad snarky and mischievous Batman. For those of you who don't know, there was an awesome cartoon series dubbed Batman Beyond. Afraid the DCAU was losing its young fan base, they ordered the team who made Batman the Animated Series to create a new, extreme sequel show, which would have a totally radical rebel kid hero who'd take up Bruce's mantle in the future, to grant the teens some more extreme misadventures. Now, some of you might think, that sounds like crap. But lo and behold, the DCAU team managed to give birth to an underrated, incredible gem, featuring a whole new Batman who actually earns his wings over the course of a series. Friedle's character, a rebellious yet kind-hearted teen named Terry McGinnis, stumbles upon Wayne Manor after aiding Bruce in a gang fight, where he discovers the Batcave. When crime rises in New Gotham and Terry crosses paths with untouchable villains, he and Bruce soon find themselves working together in order to save the day and reignite a beacon of hope in a bleak future. Terry gains a sweet high-tech suit in order to make his Batman stand out amongst the typical outfits we already know. Plus, he has an almost Spider-Man-esque persona, so he wouldn't be a clone of Bruce. Ironic if you saw the show. Like Roger, some fans ignore him because he's supposed to be a successor to Conroy's Bruce. But luckily, the Batman Beyond saga absolutely justifies why he's a worthy Bat, since he gets a character arc where he grows into the hero gig, learning why Batman matters. Unlike garbage passing of the torch stories, Terry seriously earns his status. We follow his struggles, see him adapt to the world of DC, and Bruce mentors him all throughout the series. where he only respects the kid once he proves his merit. However, unlike Wayne, he never allows his own persona to be eclipsed by the Bat, clinging to his idealism. Will's performance as Terry remains one of his best roles ever, and he was so good that to this day, fans are still clamoring that McGinnis become a canon character. Unlike Bruce, the fact that Terry's still a kid comes into play so often, and you really feel for him when heavier moments kick in.
You've got to stop.
I should have been there. I could have helped him. I could have done something.
No.
Yes! I'm not afraid of those guys. We could have fought them off, me and Dad. We could have fought...
Not only is Terry so cool and undergoing a fun hero's journey, but he's also enjoyable to watch, since for a Batman, he has a wide range of emotions, personal drama, struggles, and hidden talents. The guy's so slick, he even pisses off the Joker. How can you not love that? I think he's so amazing that he deserves more admiration on top lists. Humorous, interesting, stylized, and cool, this is a Batman whose greatness went beyond expectations.
What are you doing? Fighting dirty. The real Batman would never... Told you didn't know me.
I've been expecting you. Someone had to stop you, Superman. I'm only doing what I should have done long ago. Take over this planet of weaklings. Not on my watch.
How did this Batman not catch on? Derick Bader is a criminally underappreciated Bat because he perfectly captures the comically serious, yet hyper-intelligent awesomeness of our colorful Caped Crusader. Just a heads up, folks, this is where we get to the funny Batman. While we all love ourselves the gritty, dark titan of a hero with next-level storytelling, it's so enjoyable to watch a funny Batman too. And Derick Bader is a rare Batman who's both dark and silly.
Damien, I made your favorite.
You didn't make that. Alfred made that.
I made him make it.
Bader plays Brucey on The Brave and the Bold and the recent Harley Quinn show, but he is such a center stage talent. For those who've never basked in the wonder of Brave and the Bold, Bader basically tries to play Kevin Conroy's Batman, but in the golden age of DC, where it's over-the-top cartoony zaniness, but Batman is always dead serious and treats it as another day of crime fighting. This style is also applied to Harley Quinn, just set on an Adult Swim world. However, his version of the Knight is always astounding to follow, because this guy is super hilarious. His Bruce is just stone-faced, unimpressed, and not even bothered by the weird stuff in DC, as he is simply still maintaining his battle for justice, even in goofy scenarios.
Too campy.
Yet amazingly, he can also pull off big mature moments of the Bat as well, since the writers know how to use this guy's skills in the right settings. Derick treats Batman with respect, since he never feels like he's mocking our Crusader, but rather playing him as the guy we know and love, just in these wackier worlds with the right amount of what makes him amusing. What solidified him as one of my favorites is the episode Chill of the Night. If there is any doubt in your mind over Derick being worthy of the cowl, then this is the episode which will definitely put your worries to rest, as it achieved his version's greatness.
I know because I watched it happen. I know because I am the son of the man you murdered. I am Bruce Wayne.
For every silly moment he has, his Batman shares an equal amount of coolness, which morphed him into a super unique take unlike many other Knights we know. For all intents and purposes, Derick is a Batman who fully embraces the comic book nature this hero used to have, spamming the cheesy one-liners, the puns, the dramatic timing, the Super Friend team-ups, loving homages, and the obvious toy gadgets the hero uses to save the day. Some folks blow him off since he's more remembered for being Hoss Delgado and Rex Kwon Do. but Derick is just as great as Batman, and I'd argue he's almost more fun than most live-action versions. This dude is easily the light-hearted, over-the-top Batman, who flawlessly blends both Kevin Conroy and Adam West's best traits into one. Sassy, tough, witty, badass, and encompassing the heart of everything great about Batman, Derick Bader is a delightful childhood icon.
And until we meet again, boys and girls, know that wherever evil lurks, in all its myriad forms, I'll be there with the hammers of justice to fight for decency and defend the innocent. Good night.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Robert Pattinson may forever have the infamy of being on bad romances, but there's not a doubt in my mind that this vampire did a stupendous job under the cowl. The Batman is another sorta origin tale detailing the Dark Knight's eventual rise to Gotham's protector during his early days. Yet who knew Edward from Twilight actually could be a marvelous Bruce Wayne? This guy's slick at a savage, mysterious warrior of the night, a true horror to behold. It's safe to say that Pattinson has totally shedded his embarrassing days as only being good under the Twilight crap, because he is nearly unrecognizable as the Winged Avenger. Pattinson's Batman feels like the Arkham Origins Batman, and even a mix of the Telltale Bruce brought onto the big screen, since he plays a more conflicted, totally enraged Bruce who struggles to overcome his inner turmoil, but seeks to prove himself as a decent guy who truly wants to make his ghetto Gotham a safer place. The Batman reboot is shot just like a horror movie, and of course, The Dark Knight is granted a much-needed upgrade in his fear power. He feels like a straight-up boogeyman, constantly concealed within the shadows, terrifying the scum of Gotham, never backing down from a fight, and even feels a bit like a vampire. Since Bruce always works every night as a monster, but during the day looks pale and sleep-deprived, this vampire doesn't sparkle. There's a ton of cool action and epic scenery backing Pattinson up, but his performance really sold me on his character arc. This is another Batman who's still trying to find his place, and throughout the film, he questions what he wants his true image to be towards the people he seeks to protect. Essentially, he goes from the brooding, grim jerk Batman into the selfless, kind-hearted knight who, deep down, wants to save lives over just bashing thugs down. This is the type of Batman we should have gotten from Batfleck, but Pattinson beat him to the punch. I said this about Zoe's Catwoman way back, but I think what makes this Batman so good is that he's the first comic book accurate Bat we had on film in a long while, capturing a ton of the qualities we associate with the icon, but also granting us a riveting, grittier Dark Knight adventure, reminding us why he rocks, rather than a whole new reinterpretation. The Batman movie was far from the definitive story of the Bat's career, but I won't deny that Pattinson truly does feel like the classic Dark Knight we know, but for a new generation. His costume is easily the most memorable one I've seen in live action since the infamous bat nipples, but of course in a good way. He also gets a lot more distinct bat tech, showing off his detective work way more compared to other theatrical Bats. Surprisingly, Pattinson gets to do a lot of fun stuff we've always wanted to see brought onto the big screen. The gray morality, the heavy drama as both the Dark Knight and regular, mysterious billionaire Bruce Wayne, the badass combat, the Bat-Cat romance, and even making our hero a horror ghoul. This is a new Batman I wouldn't mind seeing more of. Congrats, Robbie. You've graduated from a lame Batman to an astounding Batman.
They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows.
Gotham needs a hero. Someone to hunt down people like you.
Troy Baker is often another overlooked Batman, mostly because we usually associate him with DC's kitty crap. I used to look down on him as the go-to Bruce for the family-friendly Bat stuff, such as the Lego Batman games, tunes, and his crossover with the Ninja Turtles. These are fine fun for all ages, but his Bat voice was far from perfect. However, one story in particular did skyrocket his high status on my list. And that's, surprise, surprise, the Telltale series. I've gushed about these games before, but I can't help it. I love Batman's Telltale games. And naturally, they had an equally phenomenal Bruce Wayne. Troy Baker was chosen to play the Dark Knight since not only did he voice the character before gaming-wise, but he worked with Telltale on other awesome titles, such as Borderlands. However, Telltale was also trying to distance themselves from the beloved Arkham saga, so no Kevin Conroy or Roger Craig Smith were asked, since the studio knew it couldn't compete with those epics. Miraculously, Troy seized his opportunity to shine and rapidly became one of my favorites thanks to Telltale Studios' top-notch writing. He gained more points over the other Bats because this is a Dark Knight you, the player, get to forge into your own, as Troy gets to play Batman in multiple differing lights. Telltale games are choice-based gaming, so the story is tailored by how you play. Sometimes. And to be fair, Telltale poured their all into their Batman journey, and Baker can be a different flavor of Batman depending on what you crave. He can be the jerk Frank Miller Batman, the calm yet brutal Christian Bale Batman, and there's even room to have him play a Diet Adam West Batman.
So, what do you do for a living?
It's complicated. High risk, high reward.
Ah, stock market, huh?
This allows you, the player, to get your own version of the Bat, but more importantly, it helps Troy show off that he can portray Batman in many styles. He has a wide range of reactions, relationships, and personalities, which make him a well-rounded person. Heck, even the Lego Batman and Toon Bat are entirely different people. He's that rad. Though, credit to the Telltale staff, their Batman journey superbly helped elevate this Batman to greatness in my eyes. The Telltale Batman undergoes a heavy story arc in the first game, where his life is turned upside down due to some serious issues and dark secrets coming to light, forcing Bruce to question his crusade against evil, and even his entire life. The second game only raises the stakes once Wayne goes undercover to infiltrate the Legion of Doom, in order to solve a greater conflict on the rise, where Bruce forms new friends and foes. These games are so insanely fun that I don't want to spoil too much, but I have to say, this is the most Bat fun I had since Arkham Knight. I was absolutely shocked that Telltale somehow made it fun playing as Bruce Wayne for most of the game. No, not Batman, ordinary billionaire playboy working through his personal drama, Bruce Wayne. Telltale made a game where you enjoy playing as regular Bruce Wayne more than Batman. That's how great these titles are. All this is elevated by Troy putting his all into the character. Any doubt in my mind if he was a good Avenger or not quickly went out the window after Season 1. Thanks to Telltale, I was glad to hear Baker and his TMNT crossover, since they made me realize how fun he is as Batman. Troy Baker is usually in good stuff, but his skills in Telltale sealed the deal for me. His Batman is always charismatic, humorous, dynamic, witty, and placed in such fun scenarios that he quickly won me over faster than the Flash. He almost outdoes Derick for crazy situations. He can date Catwoman, he's besties with the Joker, he and Superman stop Luthor from breaking the Lego dimension, and he even fights the Shredder. Is there anything this Bat can't do?
I also enjoy long walks on the beach.
Oh, and he's the only actor to play both Batman and his arch nemesis the Joker, as well as Robin, Red Hood, and Two-Face.
God damn!
Troy is very quickly catching up to Conroy in terms of insanely grand Batman actors, and his skills totally show you why. While he's still underrated next to the bigger names, Baker is a Batman I'll always choose every time.
Cowabunga.
I think you lost him. I think we're good.
No. You're anything but good.
Bruce Greenwood is another criminally underrated Batman because he's not only a part of some awe-inspiring DC projects, but he is the second best voice for Batman after Conroy. Some people make the mistake of assuming that Greenwood was only Batman for one flick, the masterpiece of animation Under the Red Hood. But Bruce was so slick as Batman that he would portray him again on Young Justice and even Gotham by Gaslight, clearly demonstrating how the man still had the style of the Knight, and was not a one-trick pony. Greenwood's easily who I view as the elderly, more experienced veteran Dark Knight. He sounds like a Batman who's been at this superhero gig for a long lifetime. In fact, he does reach the classic Conroy level a few times. This guy is Batman at his peak, being the ultra badass who's seen it all, hard in his cold exterior, and knows enough that you believe he is the world's greatest detective. Even with his dead serious front, he manages to dig into Bruce's softer side underneath, and show the troubled man we all know Wayne is deep down. I'm truly dumbstruck how fans don't cherish this guy more.
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
I love how Bruce is starting to get more roles as Bruce. Ha, name's the same. Yet it's always a nice treat to hear him in DC animation, even in crazy Elseworld stuff like Victorian Batman. But you all probably figured his best performance. His acting in Under the Red Hood is spectacular, and successfully solidified a memorable Batman. In his debut movie, a new foe in Gotham, dubbed the Red Hood, challenges the Dark Knight's moral code, and frequently reminds him of his greatest failure, causing Bruce to reflect on his past. After some wacky shenanigans, Batsy makes it to the end of his rope and delivers us an epic monologue on why, after all these years, Batman never kills. Bruce Greenwood's delivery totally makes you understand this character, as it is pure Batman.
It'd be too damned easy. All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him. But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Helping matters is that his versions of Batman are usually badass, going toe-to-toe with the worst scum, solving much more intense cases than other Bats, and having a dramatic feel for our hero. This guy is so cool, and grants Batman a tough, manly, no-nonsense mood when out on patrol, yet still delves into Bruce's emotional baggage as well, since we're reminded that there is a person under there who truly wants to help. He might be the best of the Bat Dads, since he actually bonds with children, especially his Bat family. This adds so much depth to his portrayals, as we don't often get the older Bruce raising his children or guiding them as a mentor. Since, you know, DC loves smashing that reset button. I love this Batman so much that he glided his way atop my top 5 faves. That's how great he is, and I truly do think he should gain more love, since he's the battle-hardened knight. He may be obscure, but to me, this guy will always be the older and wiser Batman, doing his damnedest to fight when saving the day.
You say you want to be better than me, but it won't happen. Not like this!
I'm not going to kill you.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Aw, yeah, after all these years, all this time, after decades of DC media, to this day, Michael Keaton remains a shining star. There are no words you haven't heard before. This dude is a bossa nova Batman. Michael Keaton is the first live-action actor I think of when people ponder the best Batman. Keaton is for Batman what Christopher Reeve is for Superman. He is that masterful. Tim Burton's Batman flicks are forever cherished as the tales which finally made audiences take The Dark Knight seriously. And Keaton blew everyone away with such an incredible act. You would never believe that Batman is played by Beetlejuice. He was the OG Robert Pattinson performance for many. When the movie was first announced, fans were actually afraid Keaton would suck as a serious Batman. But amazingly, he proved to be a defining example for our icon. Apparently, some fans found it hard to buy that this guy would ever be the big, horrifying Batman, but honestly, that's what makes him perfect. Keaton is practically a vastly different guy when the cowl is on and off. His Bruce Wayne is less of the suave, hot party dude, but more of a total dork. I kind of love that about him, since Keaton's Bruce is so awkward and nerdy that you never once suspect that he's prowling around at night fighting bad guys. It's a much better disguise than Clark Kent's. Plus, it makes him quite charming and likable, since he's not the snobby socialite we usually know.
Could you tell me which of these guys is Bruce Wayne?
Well, I'm not sure.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
This totally contrasts his straight-up haunting portrayal as the Night Watcher. While Bruce is funny, Batman is a dead serious shadow warrior who mercilessly takes criminals down like the Predator and ensures that the criminal underworld fears his might. He's the type of Dark Knight who's an unrelenting badass who will stop at nothing to guard his city. To this day, I still believe his Batman suit is the best costume, since he really looks like a comic book hero brought to life. So many studios and directors try so hard to make Batman realistic, but it's nice to see Keaton's Knight totally embracing the outrageous superhero world instead. This take on the character is the dark, mysterious Batman, who we don't learn too much about, but we learn enough to understand why he does what he does, and cheer him on when he foils the villains. Nowadays, Keaton's style might be waved off as nothing special, since he hits the basic beats we're all familiar with by now, but he still earns his stats since he paved the way for more mature Batman tales, all thanks to his greatness. I will never not recommend this Batman, as he raised the high bar in the first place. The only reason why he's not number one is because he kills people. Now, he's not Batfleck horrible, but this night, carelessly offing enemies does also show that filmmakers still had a long way to go in understanding Batman. Nevertheless, his good traits totally overshadow any weaknesses, because this is a Dark Knight who made his dent on crime. When it comes to the most revolutionary Batman actors, Keaton, you are my number one guy.
You missed. You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because I have to be. No. Because I choose to be.
Cat, you put Val Kilmer on the list? Hell yeah, cause Val Kilmer's Batman is totally wicked. Now, say what you will about Joel Schumacher's Bat timeline, and especially about Kilmer's infamous rep, but you will never convince me that this was not an epic Batman. Batman Forever is such a grand, insanely fun comic book film, and it's only made a million times better thanks to the Dark Knight's performance. What I love about this version is that he truly feels like the animated series Bruce brought to life. Heck, Kilmer's Bruce Wayne even looks like the cartoon version. That's a nice detail. Joel Schumacher openly proclaims that he's a huge fan of the Batman's masterful TV series. And that truly does show, as he clearly based parts of his own films off of the iconic visuals from the Diniverse. Naturally, this included his Batman, with this version being the ideal standard of a good Bat representation. While certainly super different from Keaton, Val Kilmer's so smooth as both the Bat and the Man. I like his Bruce Wayne being the stern businessman with a heart of gold deep down, as he still commands authority and feels like an experienced Batman at this point, since Mr. Wayne has now become the mask he truly wears in public, as he's actually the Batman persona 24/7. Though we do catch glimpses of the dorky, antisocial Bruce that Keaton established, mostly from his romance with Dr. Chase and his attempts to raise Robin right. But of course, his role as the Night Watcher is what makes him so fantabulous. This is a kick-ass Batman, plain and simple. Batman Forever is the oh-so-classic, big-budget Hollywood blockbuster experience, and it's amplified by really showing off their Batman's edge, and fully embraces how cool he is. These are some cinematic visuals which make the Caped Crusader look like a boss. Kilmer's Batman and Bruce Wayne look like they could crush you without breaking a sweat. However, while Schumacher and his staff perfectly shot the Bat in a fun light, Kilmer's acting totally sells you on it. Now, he does get some silly bits, but they're at least funny. He cracks a few cheesy lines, but they complement the movie's insanity far better than Batman Returns and Batman and Robin ever did. I'm also the only person who liked this, but there's a rather infamous scene where Batman hooks up with Dr. Chase, where, after she admits her true love is for Bruce, he makes this doofy grin. Most find it cringe, but it's so hilarious. I'd make that face too if I was gonna bang Nicole Kidman. However, he has way more pros than cons. I don't think this guy gets enough credit, since when he's not spouting one-liners, he delivers some legit deep emotional moments, which scream our anti-hero. I cannot understand how Batman Forever was seen as bad, when we got such tight moments.
The figure in the dark was my destiny. It would change my life forever. I would use its image to strike terror into the hearts of those who did evil. I would ensure what happened to me would never happen to anyone else again.
If that isn't Batman, then I don't know what is. Kilmer boots Keaton one rank below for me because I sincerely see him as a good fit as both Batman and the cold, distant Bruce Wayne. He feels like a flawless translation of the icon onto film, and Joel's larger-than-life imagery propels him sky high. Suave, charming, dark, deep, and fun, Val Kilmer will always be one of the best Batmen forever.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Oh boy, if you dislike Val Kilmer making it so high up, then prepare for fan wars.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Holy awesome actors, Bat fans! My second favorite Bright Knight of all time is the bedazzling gem Adam West. What, did you think I was joking when I said funny Batmen wouldn't start popping up? Of course I included the man who made Batman a household name. Without Adam West's show, the world would never even know who Batman was. He would have risked becoming more obscure than the Green Hornet without West's formula. Who? Exactly. I adore Adam West's Batman, and truly believe he's earned his cowl. Whether you love the 60s era or not, West's performance was the one which made Batman famous. This guy introduced the Dark Knight to mainstream crowds, but he also manages to hold his own champion status as a memorable incarnation. What makes West legendary is that he's an ultra fun Batman. This guy portrays Batman so seriously, but his deadpan performance in such a ludicrous comic world is what makes him comedy gold. This is the guy Derick Bader's Batman mostly reenacts from, since West was the first Batman to be dead serious, even in the face of absurdity, which naturally made the show so wild. But don't let the zaniness fool you, West is still a wicked Batman. Some folks don't like the 60s era of the icon because it's not one serious, and hate how West portrays Batman in a silly manner. But to be fair, comics were exactly like this at the time. Back then, Batman and DC Comics were ridiculous and extremely over the top. West's Batman was an accurate depiction of the Caped Crusader during that era. There was a time when Batman dressed in different rainbow colors, had a bat hound, and turned into a baby. Adam West is not the most undignified thing to ever happen to the guy. Plus, people should give the Bright Knight street cred. This guy's badass. His Batman is ready for anything, escapes multiple death traps, has awesome trinkets and gadgets at his disposal, and practically began the "because he's Batman" meme, since this version overcomes any scrap. How can you not love a Batman so cool that he can best foes without even throwing a punch?
I'm gonna practice the art of karate on you.
Your mistake. Karate, as you call it, correctly pronounced karate, is a defensive form. Therefore, in order for you to make a move, I must move, and I won't.
I love this Batsy since he's funny, witty, noble, chill, and a barrel of laughs. West is such a wonder that he pretty much grew into a staple for DC media, having cameos or guest spots in other comic shows, so he has earned respect from fans and even filmmakers, since this was the guy who started it all. For good reason too, since his Batman is certainly a wacky yet fun take on the character, who appealed universally for everyone. Other than the shenanigans, his Bat is a far more experienced guy, as this winged Avenger, solves villain of the week stories, doing some detective work, getting into death traps, escaping death traps, bantering with the baddies, and eventually rewarding us a big epic death battle by the end. Not like stupid Bale and Batfleck who just angst and rage quit when the going gets tough. The movies mostly contained his character development, where the Bright Knight handles grander scale threats, but also shows us the struggles of being a hero beneath the mask, and at some points finds himself in even more deranged trouble. However, what makes him a noble hero is how he always perseveres in the face of danger, and does the right thing in the end to save the day. If that's not the mark of a hero, then turn in your Justice League pass card. After literal generations of Batman storytelling, Adam West has withstood the test of time as a rare jewel, because his Batman is ludicrous fun for adults, and a shining role model of heroism for the younglings.
You risked your life to save that riffraff in the bar?
They may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings.
Adam West's Dark Knight just has so much charm, self-aware humor, nobility, and most importantly, heart that formed him into a unique idol. He's so cool that he's the only live-action Batman to team up with Kevin Conroy. Most of the other actors have never passed that threshold of radness. Even with all the wild DC films and shows, this guy will always be a classic Batman.
How did you ever escape? Fortunately, I always carry my carousel reversal spray.
What don't you have in that belt?
Patience for harlequin hoodlums like yourself.
Before we reach our totally unpredictable number 1, here are a few honorable mentions.
Now I'm only gonna say this once, you sons of bitches. Get the hell out of my cave.
Dracula's holed up in Gotham Cemetery, where I intend to bury him permanently.
You can't kill murder. You can't get revenge on evil. You can only begin to fight such things by not doing them.
It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon.
I used to be a doctor. Mention my dead son again, and I will break out my surgical instruments. You wanna get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. You mean like Batman? Let me nurse you back to health.
No, get off me!
Drink my bat milk, stupid!
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman!
Here he is, the GOAT, the bestest ever, the definitive Batman, the Golden Goose, the Shadow Man himself, surprising all 1% of my audience, the greatest Batman actor of all time is Kevin Conroy.
Gasp! I never would have guessed.
It goes without saying, but Conroy is the top dog of not just Batman, but of perfectly casted DC stars ever. This man is the voice I always hear when reading Batman. The guy has played the Dark Knight longer than every actor on this list, has peaked into a larger DC actor than frickin' Keaton, Bale, and even Christopher Reeve, been a huge part in entertaining the masses, starred in epic tales for all ages, gave Brucey a wide variety of depth and emotions, totally understands this character, and has shaped the image of this man into the Titan we love. It's pretty hard to simplify his Batman's character, as the dude has never played just one version of Batsy, breaking out from the DCAU and into whole other differing variants of this character the same way as Gray DeLisle and Mark Hamill have for their own icons. Conroy has played a young Batman, a newbie Batman, an emotional Batman, a tough hard-ass Batman, a scary Batman, a caring Batman, a total badass Batman, alternate Elseworlds Batman, evil Batman, funny Batman, garbage CW Batman, anime Batman, video game Batman, old Batman, and even a singing Batman. Kevin has done practically everything you can with Batman. And boy howdy does he totally earn the number 1 spot, because much like Mark, this dude vanishes into his role. Conroy's not a huge voice actor like Tom Kenny or DeLisle, but he has an awe-inspiring set of skills at this character. Not once slouching or phoning it in, even on the crap stories he gets stuck in. Conroy is possibly the only Batman I've ever seen who can banter with himself.
Surprised to see me? A little. I'm more surprised that I lived so long.
Batman, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Or have you met?
Not now.
I've honestly never met anyone who hates this guy's voice acting. He is that phenomenal. Usually Bat fans argue over Keaton, Bale, and Batfleck's value, but Conroy always makes the table because there's no denying that this guy is platinum level. Most fans know of Kevin thanks to Batman the Animated Series and the eventual sequels and spin-offs of the DCAU. He's certainly at his A-game there, as we see Bruce's entire character arc in one humongous cartooniverse. From the naive rising hero of a young Bruce, to the OP boss working together with his super friends, all the way to the grouchy old man passing the torch to Terry. He's literally lived out and acted this character's whole lifespan. That is wondrous. And if the triple S rank achievements of the DCAU isn't enough, he's also so popular that he was brought back to play the Dark Knight multiple times in many more continuities. His second place performance has got to be the Arkham games, a true love letter for Bat enthusiasts, where him being the Knight solidified these games as equally magnificent as his cartoons are. Conroy's voice is just the epitome of badass masculinity, as he commands presence, terrifies the hearts of those superstitiously cowardly lot of scum, banters off of his sidekicks and rivals well, but he also shows the layers of his persona, as deep down, this knight does have a heart and a sense of humanity.
Does the hurt ever go away?
I wish I could say yes. But it will get better in time. For you. That I promise.
The man redefined Batman in more ways than any actor on this list did, and has starred in so many projects because people idolize his Bat voice that much. You cannot unhear this bro's performance as Brucey. It's a voice that stays with you long after you finished his adventures. While Michael Keaton and Adam West absolutely wowed audiences by spotlighting the Dark Knight as a glorious hero, Conroy was allowed to humanize him more into this complex, intriguing anti-hero that dove into great detail on everything amazing about our detective. Much like Robert Englund as Freddy or Brad Dourif as Chucky, Kevin Conroy is instantly associated with the Caped Crusader because he made this character his own. I love him in so many DC fables that it's almost impossible to say which was best because he's good in nearly everything. Nearly. What more can I add? This was a man who blew away celebrities who donned the cowl in live action, and made voice acting a career people respected a metric ton more because of his talent. He is the spirit of vengeance. Rest in peace, Kev. Being the #1 Batman shall always be your grand legacy.
Is there anything you can't do?
There's one thing I've never been very good at. Saying thank you.
Cowabunga.